General plan is to look at all the quarterbacks this week and then make a decision later in the week, Coach?
Yes.
Right. And you're not going to announce the quarterback more than likely?
No.
Okay, you're not calling me up Friday and saying, Wags, here's the quarterback. No. Just want to let you know. And is Zach in that mix, or is Zach strictly
yes, he's in the mix. Yep.
To be the full-fledged quarterback? In terms of getting the offense going, we were talking today, and you were saying about playing Navy football. And I know you can't wave a magic wand, but you implemented Navy football both with Coach Johnson and yourself. Are some things you can do to try to get this team back to what you call Navy football?
Hopefully, we just gotta, there are a lot of self-inflicted wounds, and it's hard enough to win in this league. You know what I mean? And so being able to go the right way, being able to go in tail motion so we can pitch the ball. I mean, we don't know if we're going to make the play or get the first down, but if you're not there,
right,
we got no chance.
Yeah, that happened. I thought I noticed something.
Or, things that people don't see. Like I said, everybody wants to look at the quarterback, but up front, if you go to the wrong person,
right,
and you don't go to the right person, I mean, we don't have a chance.
Right.
Because it's hard enough to go, even when we go to the right person, we don't know if we're going to block them. But if you don't go,
you're right,
you don't have a chance. So
and that guy's going to make a play.
Exactly. So those are the kind of things that we got to eliminate on offense to be, those are things that we normally don't do, and we got to do a better job coaching so we don't make those mistakes. We got to get rid of the big plays on defense. We've been having way too many explosive plays. I mean, we'll play great for a stand, and then we'll give up a big play, and that's so demoralizing.
Right.
And the same thing, special teams. We've given up way too many big plays that's hurt us. And so just doing those things, not giving up layups, contesting shots, so, symbolically speaking. But I think if we do that, then we'll have a chance.
Right.
And with that said, we're not playing very well, and we still had a chance to win, last week. And so we just got to continue to press forward. I was encouraged. I thought we played better than the week prior. And, that's the goal, just try to continue to get better. And I'm encouraged by today. I thought we had a good practice. Obviously, we got another good team coming to town, so it's going to be another, tough week for us. And if we turn the ball over, or if we have missed assignments, I mean, we're not going to beat anybody. And if we do those things, they'll give us a chance. So we're trying to give ourselves a chance.
Well, that's what you're making. I mean, that's one of the things that has defined Navy football is the minimal mental mistakes. So you all play with a high level of football IQ. And what you mentioned, not going the right way or in tail motion. And Dale mentioned that on that long bomb, you're playing a three, I don't know what you call that defense, but there's supposed to be the whole point of the defense he called was that somebody's in that back third. Is that kind of frustrating?
Yeah, but it's, unfortunately, our kids are human. We're human. I say that, and I regret going for it on fourth down, late in the game. So, yeah, we can play better. I can make better decisions. We can coach better. If our guys are making mistakes, why? Is it too complicated? Or, what we're doing, the way we're doing our drills, or are the guys learning it? We got a younger team.
I was just going to say that was. How about the fact that a lot of these plays are sophomores? We're talking about they're young.
Nobody cares. I mean, our opponents don't have pity on Navy. Some of these guys they've never played before. It is what it is. So we have to look at that. Look at things schematically. Look at how we're coaching, how we're teaching them. Just all those things are things that we got to do to try to make sure that we can get better. So it's not just the players, it's coaches. I mean, we're all in this together. We win as a program, we lose as a program. So.
Right. I mean, we have talked about this, but it is the grind of this league. There are no easy games. There is no weak sisters. Memphis is returning to West Division champion. You beat them. It's such an uplifting victory. But then Temple, they're tough. And they leave, and here comes Houston. I mean, there is no day off, week off.
Well, the league. Sorry, this pen was poking me. Temple beat the crap out of Maryland. And should have had a chance to beat BC. So they're a good team. Obviously, Houston's coming. They're a good team. But I'm encouraged that we had a chance to beat both of them. I mean, we lost to SMU and Temple. We had a chance to beat those guys. And like I said, you've asked before being in the league, and really the two teams we got beat worse than a team out of our league.
Right.
So we're still the Naval Academy. We have to bring it every week. Right. It's not like we can come and show up. Well, with our feet up, and this is going to be a cakewalk. Every week we got to bring it, and that's always been our mentality. Struggling a little bit this year, but we still got a long ways to go. Coach Johns reminded me that we were 2-4 in 2014. I'm surprised you haven't mentioned that.
No, it's in the notes.
It's in your notes.
It's a good note. Yes, I read it.
That's where John's got it.
And so it's, we're. I don't read Strasburg's notes.
Right.
No, I do. I'm just joking.
But the bottom line is the history has proven you can pull out of this.
Yeah, but then we're not really concerned about that. We got to focus, like you said, we got to play better now. That's
Right.
the concern. Eliminate the mistakes from the 2018 team, 2016, 15, 14. You can look at it, but it really doesn't mean anything for now. We got to get better this year or this week. And I like our start today. I thought we had a good day.
Can you talk a little bit about the Houston offense, in particular, De'Aaron King? He's a very dynamic guy, can run, and he's improved as a passer. I mean, last year he had a pretty good game against you.
Everyone. And he's gotten better.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gotten better. Kendall Browse is a really good coach. So is Major. I mean, they're both really good offensive minds. And the lowest they've scored is 41 points.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a machine right now, and nobody's been able to stop them. And we're going to have our hands full with them because they can hurt you in so many places. They got wideouts. They got a bunch of backs. It's not like you can focus on one guy. It's not like you can focus on King. They got so many weapons, and they play fast, so they get a ton of reps in there. It's Coach Brow's stuff, and Kendall's continued it. And I mean, they know exactly what they're doing with their offense. And our goal is always to keep them off the field.
Right.
I mean, that's always been our formula.
That's the best defense, right?
But we haven't been executing offensively, so it's been tough. In the times we have executed, we haven't been able to finish drives. And so the goal for us is, play great defense, but also find a way to keep them off the field.
So are they demonstrably different under Kendall Browse than they were last year, for instance? I mean, do you seeing some different stuff?
I mean, yeah, there's different stuff. I mean, some of the concepts are similar, but this is, Kendall stuff. It's all Baylor stuff. But, Major was, before running a lot of those similar concept RPO stuff and some of the runs that they do. Most spread teams run it. But it's just the speed in which they run it at. Obviously, the kids are well coached. Because to go that fast, you need to know what you're doing, and they obviously know what they're doing.
Right. And last but not least, when you're in a 3-game losing streak, it can get at the psyche. What is your sense about these players? Do you feel they remain confident? Do you feel, are you positive about that?
See, you talk about this. We're talking about the here and today.
Right. Okay.
I mean, that's our psyche.
Right.
I mean, sports writers and people talk about the past.
Trends and history, right. Yeah.
That's for stats and sports information. People put all the stats as part of the deal, but you cannot look at that. Never have, never will. You just got to stay in the here and now, and that's always got to be your approach. You know what I mean? And while other people talk about it, I got to do my best to, don't worry about that.
Right.
Worry about doing your job. Worry about going in tail motion. Worry about staying in thirds. 2016, what happened last week, what happened to Hawaii has no bearing on now. We have to get ready now.
Your general approach with trying to get this to where you want it to be?
It's got to practice. I mean, there's no magic wand or anything like that. You just got to practice. Put in obviously clear game plans so our kids can execute and just play. Again, we have to be consistent on offense. Can't put drives together. We'll get something going, then we'll make a mistake or something like that. But again, just put good game plan in. Put our kids out there, help them with the play calls, and again, just encourage them and keep pushing through. So there's nothing we can do. I mean, I know our backs are against the wall. Everybody's counting us out. Everybody's against us now, but it is what it is. The nature of the business. I understand what it's all about. Got to do my job better and find a way to get a W on Saturday.
Is there anything that when you're playing a guy like Ed Oliver, do you tell the quarterbacks in particular that this is a guy how do you approach a guy like Ed Oliver?
No, again, it's just all in your game plan. We played Aaron Donald a few years ago, who was a really, really good football player. You just got to know where he is all the time. And again, you got to just build your plays around trying to contain him and not let him get loose and just be smart. And so, and we'll put a game plan in to where we can, protect ourselves, try to neutralize him, at the same time be who we are and be physical and come off the football.
And they've played you fairly well defensively. I think they've used pretty much the same defensive for 3 years now. Is that correct? Pretty much 50 type defense.
No, it was different.
Last year,
2015 and 2016, they played us in a different front. But last year, they got a new DC and played us different. And he has experience against it. He's been at Temple with Golden when we played him here a few times. He's at Miami. They played Georgia Tech a few times. So they have an idea. They're going to make you execute. Not going to give you anything easy, make you earn it. So that's what you have to do.
and when a defense has a player like Ed Oliver, is there something they can do against the option with a player like that to cause disruption? I mean, do you try to take an Ed Oliver and just say shoot the gap every time?
Just be physical. But again, you still got to be assignment sound. Again, they have a pretty sound plan. They just let their kids play fast. It's really, really clear. They don't try to do too much. They just play fast and play physical. And for us, we got to execute. We got to block them, take care of the football, make great decisions, get the ball to the right person, and play football. Basically, that.
Well, I'm doing a little feature on Ford Higgins, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about him. Kind of talk. I mean, I've heard so much about the fact that he's a smart football player, and he's also pretty, got good mobility. Can you just kind of talk about his attributes and what you like about Ford?
Really good football player. Probably the thing that sets him apart is kind of his mentality. He is 1,000 miles an hour. He plays hard. He's explosive. He's aggressive. He's actually really played well. We hadn't played well, particularly up front, and based on our results and things like that. But if you watched him play, he's really played well.
Right, and I know you give efforts and lack of efforts. I guess based off what you're saying is he doesn't get downgraded quite often for that.
He doesn't. He's the guy. So we've rotated basically every position. So we've been rolling guys at guard. We've been rolling guys at tackle. He's basically played all the snaps, and he plays harder than anybody on the field.
Right.
So I think that says it all about him.
So, I mean, how much is he getting a break at all during any games? Or I think Forney would be the guy you would put in there to give him a rest, but I don't know that I've seen that too often this year.
He's played most of them. There's been some games he's got a rest or two, but not a lot. He's played most of the snaps.
Right. And
I would say, other than the quarterback, he's probably played more snaps than anybody.
Really?
On the offense, yeah.
Wow.
Probably easily.
And I think you've also talked about his. He's an athletic guy for being an lineman. Can you kind of reference what do you see? Is he his footwork, etc.? Is that something that's an attribute?
Yeah, that's obviously he's quick, he's explosive, he can move as well as anybody we've ever had. What he's got to do is continue to work on the little things. You just said it, footwork, foot placement, getting his second step down, having a base. He's so athletic. Sometimes he can get ahead of himself. So he's still learning the position. He's still learning the game. He's still learning proper footwork. He's still learning hand placement. Believe it or not, he has to slow down at times, which we don't have to tell many guys to slow down. We want everybody else to go faster and faster. But he has a chance to be a special player for us. He's kind of there now, but he could be one of the best we've ever had if he'll continue down the path that he's on.
And you envision keeping him at center?
I do. Our question was, how would he do against these 300-pound guys?
All right, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah, and he's lined up against Temple.
Big boy.
Pretty good guys. He's lined up against the nose guard at Air Force. And, again, if you watch that game individually, Ford more than held his own against the guy there. So he's been challenged. We played against some really good people. Obviously, he's going to be challenged big time going down these next few games, but he's done great.
So, I mean, obviously the linemen don't get talked about very often, and here you're sitting there telling me he's been grading out high every game, but yet the first time he really gets prominently mentioned is when he pushes a guy in the back and gets a penalty that wipes out a 30-yard touchdown.
Well, maybe pushing in the back would be up for debate.
Right.
So,
well,
I'm not going to get into that. He was playing football, and I think it is what it is.
Well, my question, though, is how do you keep him from getting down? Because he probably felt bad that here's Ford Higgins, 72, was called for this penalty that wiped out a touchdown that was so important. Do you try to lift him up and say, man, you got to play?
Well, my first thing was, don't do that. Why did you do that? And then I think so he was down and out a little bit, but I think after he watched it, he probably felt better about it. So I'll leave it at that.
Right.
Yeah.
So now this brings up this week's challenge. And I know you don't block Ed Oliver one-on-one.
Right.
Most teams don't. But Ford is going to be involved, will he not?
He will, yeah.
Right.
So he's going to be playing center, and Ed's going to be a defensive tackle, and they're going to be within arm's length of each other. So obviously they'll match up quite a bit. It's a great challenge. And the thing about Ed Oliver is obviously he's talented. Obviously he's explosive. He's one of the best players in the country. But what I admire about him is he may be the most relentless D lineman we've ever played against. So I've got huge respect for him and the way he plays the game. And Ford plays the same kind of game. Okay, so it should be a lot of fun to watch those two go at each other.
Does Houston use Ed Oliver in the same technique all the time, or does he kind of move around and line up in different places?
He moves around. Yeah,
right.
He's so athletic, they're not going to just leave him stand still. So he played the nose, he played some two technique, he did some different things at different positions. They'll change fronts and things like that.
So plan number one is you got to identify where he is in order to block him right now.
Yeah, we'll know where he's at. Yeah, that's one thing we will know.
Right, but 85% of the time, Ford Higgins probably going to be involved with trying to get him blocked.
Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but it'll be a lot.
Just kind of talk about as a leader of the unit, how you try to lift up the group and you get them to perform because there's no excuses, right?
Right. Of course, especially in the A-back room, we're all about the next man up mantra, just like we heard last year. We have a bunch of guys in our group that can play. A lot of us, CJ obviously was down, just a big part of it, but we still had like Miles Fells and Chance Warren, a bunch of guys that can step up and make the play at any moment.
So now Coach had said after the game that part of the reason he moved Malcolm to slot is because in practice he had watched some of the young guys and just wasn't quite comfortable and he felt better with Malcolm there. How do you tell those young guys, because they might have thought it was their chance to get a shot, and how do you tell them to keep their head up and this is just telling you that you got to improve a couple things?
Yeah, it's just one of those things that you just you got to learn from it and don't take it the wrong way and just understand that what's going on. And obviously Malcolm has played it before, so he had an understanding of it.
Right, I mean, he was a starter last year.
Exactly, so it's just one of those things they just got to learn to trust the process and keep going and get better, and obviously learn from not only Malcolm but everyone else around them, and their chance is going to come.
Right. So guys like Taj Malloy and Miles Fells, you mentioned, guys like that. I mean, you feel they got great potential, these young men?
Definitely have great potential. Miles and Taj are great guys, a bunch of great players, and we have some others like Tyreek Kingell can play. A bunch of those guys can get out there at any moment and make something happen. Well,
those guys got some valuable experience this past game. Even though they went with Malcolm as a starter, they did play a lot more than they had been and got some good reps. Do you see that paying off for them?
Yeah, definitely will play off. Especially it's one thing to get practice reps, but in-game reps are a lot different. And once you get out there and get that confidence in yourself, it definitely makes a world of difference.
Right. What about you? How are you doing? I mean, you coming off the knee surgery. You probably haven't had the rehab that you really needed. I mean, but you're a senior. You want to play. How you feeling?
I'm feeling well. Knees getting more confident in it every day. The more I practice and just being around these guys, it definitely helps me out and keeps me going because, like I said, I missed a lot of the spring ball and the spring season, so definitely being around these guys and getting back out here is great for me and just pushing to keep going.
Has it been frustrating early on in the season that maybe you can't quite do some of the things maybe you did last year? I was talking to Coach DePay, and he said, you're not Tre Walker from prior to the injury. You're a different player. Is that frustrating at times, or you just have to learn to be, use your mind a little bit better to get the job done?
I mean, it's definitely different, but I don't want to say it's frustrating. I want to say it's a learning process and learning how to use other things that I'm good at and being able to balance this stuff out. So it's definitely a learning experience.